Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Woodbine Mohawk Park on this Friday, July 18th, 2025. Getting set to kick off today's qualifying action. 3-year-olds and up on the pace for the first, a field of 6. This will be the first of 11 here this morning. One driver change, 3 John Hill, is now driven by Damian McClellan. So your field will see 1 Luna's Legacy, a 4-year-old gelding driven by Michael Whalen. 2 Back to the Future, 5-year-old gelding driven by Tyler Jones. 3 John Hill, a 3-year-old gelding driven by Damian McClellan. 4 is Boyd Bay, 3-year-old gelding driven by J.R. Plant. 5 is Crackshot, 3-year-old colt driven by Doug McNair. And 6 is Batter Up Hanover, 7-year-old gelding driven by Louis Waugh. Gates in motion as the field of 6 takes their positions. 18 degrees, a fast track, clear skies, set to go. Here is qualifier number 1. And they're off and pacing. Luna's Legacy away well from the inside. Keeping our eyes to the middle of the track and watching Crackshot starting to power on up as he'll just work his way towards the lead. Everybody else lines up. Back to the Future got away third. Then in fourth, that's going to be John Hill. Tracked into the turn by Boyd Bay. And the last one in line is Batter Up Hanover. Crackshot on the outside, getting up to command as they race to the opening quarter. In second, that is Luna's Legacy, right on that one's helmet. Back to the Future. Opening quarter time was 29-3. So it's Crackshot out in front. Last year's OSS Super Final and Grassroots champion. Back in action here this morning. Leads it by 3. Second is Luna's Legacy as they tighten on up. Back to the Future races along in third. John Hill is fourth. 3 more lengths then going back to Boyd Bay, who is being followed by Batter Up Hanover. It continues to be Crackshot out in front. The son of Better's Delight for Doug McNair leads it off a 29-3 opening quarter. Races past the midway point in a minute even. So that was 30-2 in the second quarter. Not a lot of speed here. And off stride in third there went Back to the Future. Back to the Future made a quick break but resets. 5/8 of the mile now complete. It's still Crackshot the leader. Luna's Legacy in second. Moving up a spot was John Hill into third. Back to the Future, still out in about the center of the track there after the miscue. Batter Up Hanover, looped around Boyd Bay. Coming to 3/4 in a time of 1:29 flat. So Crackshot there went 29 seconds even and spins for home and will certainly be looking to turn in a flashy final quarter here. Again, 3/4 in 1:29, and Crackshot gets away on them. Luna's Legacy trying to hold second. Here on the outside comes Batter Up Hanover into that spot. John Hill behind horses. It's all Crackshot here in the final quarter, pacing very strongly through the wire. Crackshot wins it. Second was Batter Up Hanover. It was John Hill third, and then fourth was Luna's Legacy. 1:55 flat, so there it was. 26 seconds flat on the end of it for Crackshot. Getting set for qualifier number 2. It's going to be 2-year-old trotters here. Scratch number 1, Delightful Yankee. It'll be a field of 5. So we'll start with number 2, Carrots Runaway, a 2-year-old filly by run director Shane Weber trains. The driver is Bob McClure. 3 is Fabulous Serenity, daughter of Fabulous Wood, trained by Dustin Jones, Tyler Jones in the bike. This one came out of the Lexington Select Sale for $39,000 US. 4, Kennedy Hanover, a green Manalishi filly. Blake McIntosh trains, James McDonald drives. This was a Harrisburg purchase for $53,000 US. 5 is Northern Teardrop, green shoe filly, also trained by McIntosh, Jody Jameson in the bike. And 6 is Tactical Rose. She's a daughter of Tactical Landing, trained by Kyle Fellows, Louis Waugh steers. And she came out of Harrisburg for $20,000 US. Starting gate moves into the stretch. Here we go, the second qualifier today. 2-year-old trotters, all ready to go. And they're off and trotting. Kennedy Hanover getting the first call. Stablemate Northern Teardrop on the outside. Then getting away will be Fabulous Serenity, as that one is third. And looks like that one maybe will hold on to that 2-hole position, as Jameson will take Northern Teardrop into third. Then going back to Carrots Runaway, and the last one is Tactical Rose. So out in front, it's Kennedy Hanover for James McDonald, and they front the field by a length and a half on Fabulous Serenity, coming to the opening quarter in a time of 29-3. So it is Kennedy Hanover, the leader. She is a daughter of Green Manalishi and looking to get things back on track. Miscue in her career debut on July 1st. She's up front here, leading by almost 2. Fabulous Serenity, second time out for this daughter of Fabulous Wood. Then we have about 6 lengths going back to Northern Teardrop in third. Carrots Runaway is fourth, and Tactical Rose is the trailer fifth. 29-3 opening quarter. The half is hit in a time of 1 minute and a fifth. And the trotters will take their way onto the far turn, off stride, making a miscue as Carrots Runaway just after the midway point. So it still is Kennedy Hanover the leader. Fabulous Serenity in second. Getting a bit closer now is Northern Teardrop there from third. 10 or so lengths going back to Tactical Rose in fourth. And then resetting, but well back, was that breaker Carrots Runaway. Kennedy Hanover comes to 3/4 in 1:30-4, turning for home. And we'll see if Kennedy Hanover can go the distance. And here on the outside comes Fabulous Serenity, who'd been following the leader throughout. Far outside is Northern Teardrop, so 3 across as they square off, coming to the 8th pole. And now taking the lead is Fabulous Serenity. Ducking back in behind there, Northern Teardrop, trying to finish off strongly. Hanging in there is Kennedy Hanover. It's Fabulous Serenity who is going to win it. Finishing in second, Northern Teardrop. Kennedy Hanover was third, and Tactical Rose fourth. The time, 2 minutes and 2/5. Third qualifier is getting ready now. Looks like we're going to take out number 4, Can't Turn You Down. Leaves us with a field of 5. One is Saratoga. She is a 2-year-old filly by Bulldog Hanover, trained by Jack Darling. Jody Jameson is in the bike. A Harrisburg purchase for $50,000 US. 2, Ain't She Fancy. Better's Delight 2-year-old filly, trained by Nick Gallucci. The driver is Louis Waugh. 3, Post Time. 2-year-old filly by Sunfire Blue Chip. Meg Crone trains, Anthony Hahn steers. 4 is out. 5 is Officer Hops. A Shadow Play 2-year-old filly trained by Joe Pereira. James McDonald's in the bike. $27,000 London Classic purchase. And 6 is McLatte. That's a 3-year-old filly, daughter of McWicked. Michael Whalen steers. Starting gate picking up speed. Here they come. Qualifier number 3. And they're off and pacing. Shooting on out of there is going to be Officer Hops. McLatte from the outside follows that path and gets right in behind second. Saratoga from the rail. She gets away in third. Post Time is fourth, and fifth in the early going is Ain't She Fancy. Out in front, it's Officer Hops, a daughter of Shadow Play, has a 2.5 length lead as they drive into the first turn. The lone 3-year-old in the group, McLatte, will race in second. Right behind her then is Saratoga third. Fourth to the quarter will be Post Time, and then back in fifth is Ain't She Fancy. Opening quarter was 30-1. Officer Hops the leader. As they move to the backstretch, she is clear by 6 lengths here. Second time out for the daughter of Shadow Play. Last time raced at the back of the pack before kicking home in 27-2. And here today, she's up front all alone. In second is McLatte. Saratoga, first time out for the daughter of Bulldog Hanover. She's third. Tracked in fourth. Up the backstretch by Ain't She Fancy, and Post Time rounding things out as they come by the midway point in 59-4. Second quarter was paced in 29-3. It continues to be Officer Hops all alone. McLatte in second. Saratoga is third. Post Time is following along in fourth, and then 2.5 lengths back to Ain't She Fancy in fifth. So as they make their way around the far turn, again, it's been all Officer Hops since the word go, and she leads it by 7 lengths coming up to 3 quarters now. Officer Hops will take them there. The half was 59-4. 3-quarter time, 1:29-2. Coming for the top of the stretch now, Officer Hops again. All alone. We'll see if the others can put a bit of a dent into the margin. In second is McLatte. Saratoga now starts to angle out third there for Jameson. Then Post Time is fourth, and Ain't She Fancy back in fifth. Officer Hops still alone, and with a 16th to go, she's nearly to the wire. Saratoga is trying to move on by McLatte for second. Looks like she will. Officer Hops will win it by 2.5, 3. Second was Saratoga. McLatte was third. Then back to Post Time and Ain't She Fancy. 1:58-4. Today's fifth qualifier is getting set to line up behind the starting gate. Field of 6. Mark McDonnell drives 3, Speed Rider. Robert Jenkins, the 6. Century Havana, 1, Romantic Beauty. 2-year-old filly, it's Doug McNair in the bike. 2 is Rising Shadow, another 2-year-old filly. This one is driven by J.R. Plant. 3, Speed Rider, 3-year-old filly driven by Mark McDonnell. 4, CC the Yankee, 3-year-old filly driven by Michael Whalen. 5, Rover's Return, a 3-year-old filly driven by Jody Jameson. And 6 is Century Havana, 7-year-old mare driven by Robert Jenkins. They're off and pacing here in qualifier number 5. And it's going to be the veteran Century Havana, who is firing on out to the lead. Romantic Beauty from the inside there. A little steppy. McNair trying to keep this one together. She'll hold ground. Rushing up on the outside comes Rover's Return. To the inside is Rising Shadow in 4th. Hitting that first turn, CC the Yankee is then second from last and is being trailed by the stablemate Speed Rider as they go to the opening quarter. And off stride went the 5, Rover's Return. Opening quarter time was 28-4. And out in front, it's Century Havana, clear by 2. Romantic Beauty in second. Then closing the gap, third is going to be Rising Shadow. It's about 6 lengths going back to CC the Yankee in 4th. 5th up the backstretch is Speed Rider, and still off stride there is Rover's Return. So nothing changing in terms of the order as they come to the midway point. And the leader is Century Havana, who's out in front here for Jenkins by 2 lengths at the midway point in 59-1. Second quarter, 30-2. Romantic Beauty, the Better Delight filly, tracks right along second. Right there, third is Rising Shadow. Then we're going back to CC the Yankee in 4th. Speed Rider is 5th. And well back again, Rover's Return. They're midway around the far turn. And Century Havana is approaching 3 quarters with a lead of a little more than a length and a half. Romantic Beauty's right there in second. Should have something to say for the stretch drive. So too should Rising Shadow, who's in behind. 129-4 was the 3-quarter clocking. And as they get to the top of the stretch, here on the outside comes Romantic Beauty, who looks to slingshot by and does. So Romantic Beauty had followed along, now takes the lead. Century Havana backing up as it's going to be Rising Shadow now into a second. Then we're going back to CC the Yankee, and Speed Rider is 5th. It's still Romantic Beauty. Ducking to the inside, Rising Shadow. Going to give a push down to the wire, but it'll be a length back. Romantic Beauty wins it. Rising Shadow was second. Century Havana was third. 158 flat. Qualifier number 6 is getting set to go as the gate begins to roll. We'll have a break following this qualifier. 2 and 3-year-olds on the trot. One is My Ghost, a Trixton filly, trained by Eric Nadeau with Louis Waugh on the bike. 2 is Love Wins, a 2-year-old daughter of Muscle Mass. Tyler Jones drives for Alan Fair. 3 is Tricky Missy, a Trixton filly. Scott McEnany trains. Anthony Hahn will drive. Came out of the London Classic for $10,000. 4, Southwind Manhattan, Muscle Hill filly. Matt Bax trains and drives. This is a Lexian Select grad for $75,000 US. Number 5 is Annabelle Duhara, a Green Manalishi 2-year-old colt trained by Kyle Fellows with Bob McClure. $47,000 London Classic purchase. And 6 is Tricks on You. Here's a 3-year-old colt by Trixton. It's going to be the second time out. Michelle Olson trains, and the driver is James McDonald. Starting gate comes off the turn and into the stretch. The trotters for qualifier number 6 set to go. Off stride is 3, Tricky Missy. The others are on their way. Going ahead will be Southwind Manhattan striking the early lead as Love Wins gets away in second. Annabelle Du Hurrah steps ahead into third. My Ghost is then going to race in fourth as Tricks on You comes across the track to get behind that rival in fifth. And then resetting and trotting now, that's Tricky Missy, who made that miscue before the start. Southwind Manhattan takes him into the first turn. A leader here by a length and a half. Love Wins right there second. So too Annabelle Du Hurrah, My Ghost, and Tricks on You tightly packed through an opening quarter of 30-3. Southwind Manhattan is in front, but it doesn't last much longer. Looping around comes Love Wins here for Jones. So Love Wins strides up to the lead. Second time out for this daughter of Muscle Mass, and she's now up front, and she takes them up the backstretch, being tracked by Southwind Manhattan. The early leader covered up there, races in second. Annabelle Du Hurrah is third. Right there is My Ghost fourth. Tricks on You is fifth, and then it's about 25 lengths back to the early breaker, Tricky Missy. 1:02 was the half-mile time. Trotters make their way to the far turn. The leader is Love Wins. Second is Southwind Manhattan. They start to get a little bit of separation on Annabelle Du Hurrah, who is third. Then in fourth, that is My Ghost, who is being followed by Tricks on You. The last one again, Tricky Missy. A little bit of encouragement up front for Love Wins to keep on marching along as she carries the baton to 3/4. Southwind Manhattan, though, already starting to come off that one's back. 1:32 was the 3/4 time. They went a 30-second third quarter into the stretch. Love Wins, confronted again by Southwind Manhattan. Southwind Manhattan trying to regain the lead. Back in third is Annabelle Du Hurrah. My Ghost, the first time out, is just following that one. And on the outside, Tricks on You trying to make up some ground and pass some rivals late. Southwind Manhattan retakes the lead, and it's Southwind Manhattan with a good bounce back is going to win. Southwind Manhattan, Annabelle Du Hurrah gets up for second. Love Wins was third. Tricks on You closing up was fourth. 2 minutes and 3/5 the time of the mile. All right, we're set to resume with today's qualifiers. This is going to be the seventh race, scratch number 4. Brings us down to a field of 6. Tyler Jones picks up the drive on 1 Elmer Hanover. That's where we start. 1 Elmer Hanover. This is a 2-year-old colt by Cattle Wash. Paul Reed trains. Tyler Jones in the bike. A Harrisburg buy for $60,000 US. 2 is full of colors. Here's a 2-year-old gelded son of Sweet Lou, trained by Chantel Mitchell with Louis Waugh driving. This one came out of Lexington for $37,000 US. 3 exactly correct is a 2-year-old colt by Better's Delight. Camila Christoforou trains. James McDonald is in the sulky. This was a Harrisburg buy for $20,000 US. 4 is scratch. 5 is Who Let the Dogs Out. At Bulldog Hanover 2-year-old colt, John Pentland trains. The driver is Bob McClure. 6 is Ticket Station. Another Bulldog Hanover 2-year-old colt. Jack Darling trains. Jody Jameson to steer. This one came from the Lexington Select Sale for $62,000 US. And 7 is Always Orderly, a 3-year-old colt by Always Be Mickey. Michael Whalen for Walter Whalen. Starting gate swings into the stretch, a field of 6. Pacer set to go. Qualifier number 7. They're off and pacing. It's going to be Who Let the Dogs Out, splitting rivals. And at the inside is Elmer Hanover. Here's Ticket Station coming ahead as well. Exactly correct. To the pylons, gets away in 4th. Full of Colors is behind that one, and Always Orderly will take to the rear. Here on the outside is Ticket Station. This one for Jameson, maybe going wide around the shadow there, and now going to try and forge up towards the lead. Who Let the Dogs Out holds that ground at the inside. They're on even terms at an opening quarter of 29-4. So it is the sons of Bulldog Hanover who are 1-2 as Ticket Station clears to command moving into the backstretch. Who Let the Dogs Out in 2nd. Elmer Hanover watches them from in 3rd. 2 lengths back to exactly correct in 4th. 5th you'll find Full of Colors, and then 6th is Always Orderly. Ticket Station. This is the qualifying debut for Ticket Station, who leads it for Jody Jameson. And now coming back with the retake will be Who Let the Dogs Out. Second time out here, and Bob McClure loops them back to the lead. They were by the half in a minute and 3/5, so they were backing things down a bit in the second quarter after a 29-4 opener. They went 30-4 in the second, and back to command is Who Let the Dogs Out. Second is Ticket Station. Again, Elmer Hanover's been following along in 3rd. 4th is exactly correct. 3 more lengths going back to Full of Colors 5th, and 6th is the 3-year-old Always Orderly in his qualifying debut. They're approaching 3 quarters. The leader here is Who Let the Dogs Out. It's Who Let the Dogs Out, Ticket Station, and now out from 3rd comes Elmer Hanover, ready for the stretch drive. 1:30-3 was the 3-quarter time. 30 seconds flat. They're into the stretch, and approaching on the outside is Elmer Hanover. This one is ranging up and now taking the lead. Who Let the Dogs Out in 2nd. Ticket Station chased along at the rail in 3rd. Exactly correct. Has some pace now into that 3rd spot. Outside is Full of Colors. It's Elmer Hanover with the lead coming down to the wire, and Elmer Hanover will get away late to win it by about 2. Finishing in 2nd was Who Let the Dogs Out. Exactly correct was 3rd. Full of Colors on the outside 4th. 1:58-1. Trotters are moving up now for the 8th qualifier. 3-year-olds and up. Scratch to a field of 5. Take out number 3. 1 is Marie H. Damian McClellan drives this 3-year-old filly. 2 is PC, Sunshine Girl, Sam Filion, behind this 3-year-old filly. 3 is out, Forest Caballero, a 4-year-old gelding, being driven by Bob McClure. 5 is Safe Conduct, 6-year-old gelding, driven by James McDonald. And 6 is a Moticon Legacy, 3-year-old colt, son of Wallner, driven by Louis Waugh for trainer Luke Blais. Starting gate into the stretch, and here they come. Qualifier number 8. And they're off and trotting, and Caballero is going to fire on out of there. Right behind will be Safe Conduct. To the inside, that is Marie H. A Moticon Legacy is following a path there as he's going to move up into 3rd. And PC Sunshine Girl will be your early trailer. So out in front is Caballero from Safe Conduct, and a Moticon Legacy gets up ahead there into 3rd as they race to the opening quarter. Caballero fronts them for Bob McClure. Safe Conduct 2nd, a Moticon Legacy 3rd. 29 and 3 was the opening quarter. We'll go back to 4th, where you'll find Marie H, and then 5th is PC Sunshine Girl. Caballero, the 4-year-old, leads by a couple of lengths. Safe Conduct in the return is there 2nd, and then a Moticon Legacy, one of the top trotters in the game. 3 for 3 this year, winner of the Good Times and a track record 150 and 2, is just following along 3rd, right there behind Safe Conduct. It's Marie H in 4th, PC Sunshine Girl is 5th, and Caballero is all alone on the lead. The half was 1 minute and 2/5. So despite leading by about 5 lengths there, they weren't going big-time speed by any stretch of the imagination, as Caballero got away for a little bit, and Safe Conduct now going to move in closer. So Safe Conduct closes the gap there 2nd, and a Moticon Legacy just tracks there. The 3-year-old fillies then round things out. Marie H and PC Sunshine Girl. Caballero coming to 3/4. Safe Conduct in 2nd, and a Moticon Legacy is now 3 lengths from the lead. 3/4 time was 1:29 and 1. So they went 28 and 4 in the 3rd quarter. Off the turn into the stretch, Caballero has had the lead. Here comes Safe Conduct now out from 2nd, and a Moticon Legacy sticks to the helmet for the time being with 1/8 of a mile to go. So Safe Conduct takes the lead from Caballero. A Moticon Legacy right in behind. Safe Conduct coming into deep stretch. Caballero right there, and a Moticon Legacy content. They come down to the wire. It will be Safe Conduct. Caballero 2nd. Then it was a Moticon Legacy. Going back to Marie H and PC Sunshine Girl, 157. Next up is the ninth qualifier, 2-year-old trotters assembling. 1 is Landing Day, daughter of Tactical Landing, Dustin Jones. Trains and drives. 2 is Making a Run for It, a muscle mass filly. Alan Fair trains Tyler Jones in the bike. 3, Timel Shrek, Green Manalishi colt. Steve Boston's trains with Bob McClure. 4 is Hillwind Corey, a Captain Corey colt trained by Sean Stacy with James McDonald. 5 is Tavern on the Green, gelded son of Green Manalishi, trained by Luke Blay with Louis Waugh. And 6 is Touched by an Angel, a 2-year-old colt by Archangel, trained by Kyle Fellows. The driver is Doug McNair. Starting gate moves into the stretch. A field of 6 2-year-old trotters for the ninth. And they're off and trotting. Tavern on the Green is trying to move to the front. Off stride went the 3 Timel Shrek. Here on the outside is Touched by an Angel, and that one should be able to move around the rivals as Landing Day is at the inside third, back to Making a Run for It in fourth, and then Hillwind Corey will be lining up in fifth. Back to that breaker Timel Shrek as that one is still off stride, resetting now. Coming to the opening quarter and Touched by an Angel touches down on the lead. 28 seconds flat for the opening quarter. So pretty good speed there here. And Touched by an Angel moves into the backstretch up top by 3. Second is Landing Day. In third is Tavern on the Green. Fourth, you'll find Making a Run for It. And that one being followed by Hillwind Corey. The last one is Timel Shrek. So loose leaders Touched by an Angel. This is a son of Archangel. His last start, he went into the OSS Gold, made a miscue in that one early, so trying to get things back on track. And Touched by an Angel fronts them by the half in 101 and 2. Heading on to the far turn. It's Touched by an Angel. Landing Day in second. Third is Tavern on the Green. Fourth racing there is Making Run for It. That one then followed by, as they go into the turn, Hillwind Corey, and Timel Shrek is the trailer. They're approaching 3 quarters. It's still Touched by an Angel. Meanwhile, Landing Day, this daughter of Tactical Landing, has gotten a bit closer to the leaders, just in behind there. Also, something might be said here from Tavern on the Green, who's just 3 from the front. 131 and 2, 30 seconds in the third quarter, and in the stretch now, Touched by an Angel. So Touched by an Angel, let them get a bit closer now, but kicks it into another gear and draws clear by 3. In second is Landing Day. Outside is Tavern on the Green. Making a Run for It is fourth. And then going back to Hillwind Corey as they come into deep stretch. Touched by an Angel, finishing it off strongly, wins. Tavern on the Green was second. Then third was Landing Day, followed by Making a Run for It. 158 and 4. Lining up now for the 10th qualifier. 2-year-old Pacers. 1 is Sanity. 2-year-old Gelded Son of Better's Delight. James McDonald for Nick Galucci. 2 is Mandestiny, a cattle wash colt trained by Carl Jameson with Jody Jameson steering. 3 is Out. 4 is 36 Red. Paul Davies trains and drives this Gelded Son of All Bets Off. 5 is Rasputin, a Gelded Son of Panther Hanover, trained by Friday Dean. Nick Boyd drives. 6, Colnago, is a Captain Crunch colt. Blair Burgess trains Louis Waugh on the bike. And 7, Steal the Century, Gelded Son of Century Pharaoh, Scott Young for Paul Reed. Gate swings into the stretch. 2-year-old Pacers for the 10th. And they're off and pacing. Getting away quickly is going to be Rasputin, along with 36 Red. On the outside is Steal of the Century. Inside there will be Mandestiny. And then a rush on the outside here in the early going coming from Colnago. And then at the rail, it is Sanity. So as they hit the first turn, 3 across here. Widest of them all is Steal of the Century. Between horses there was Rasputin. Then to the inside is 36 Red. And Colnago is coming on the outside here. This one not to take a seat, just going to drive on. 29-4 was the opening quarter. So it's Colnago coming on the outside, and this one pacing strongly up after Steal of the Century to take the lead. In third is Rasputin, then in fourth, 36 Red tightening on up. Then we go back to Mandestiny and Sanity, the trailer. Colnago is the leader as they move up the backstretch and is clear here by 2.5 lengths. Steal of the Century in second, Rasputin third, and then fourth is Mandestiny. Going back then to 36 Red, Sanity the last one. 58-3 was the half. As we hit the far turn, Colnago has the lead. The son of Captain Crunch, third time out in a qualifier, clear by 2. Steal the Century in second. Rasputin is then following third. Fourth continues to be 36 Red. Getting a bit closer now, Mandestiny to the nearest rival. The last one continues to be Sanity as they're going towards 3/4. So the Captain Crunch colt, Colnago, leads it, coming to 3/4. A 2-length advantage on the early leader, Steal of the Century. 1:28 flat with the 3/4 time. That was a third quarter in 29-2. And the rookie Pacers come into the stretch. Colnago leads it here for Waugh. Second is Steal of the Century. Far outside, trying to close on up is 36 Red. Then we see Mandestiny dive down to the rail. Rasputin, and the last one is Sanity. Colnago, here comes 36 Red on the outside, looking to get on by. And it's 36 Red with a good-looking debut going to take it. Colnago trying to hold second, but is going to get nipped there by Mandestiny. Then fourth was Steal of the Century. The time, 1:56-4 for 36 Red. Our final qualifier today is qualifier number 11. And in this 11th qualifier, we're going to have a field of 6 2-year-old trotters to line up. Driver change on 5, Yacht Club to Doug McNair. Driver change on the 6, Maize and Blue to Damian McClellan. 1 will be Finley, a 2-year-old filly by Muscle Mass, trained by Alan Fair with Tyler Jones. 2 is Not at the Table Carlos, a 2-year-old colt by Muscle Mass. Mike Keeling trains. Paul McDonnell drives. This one came out of Harrisburg for $47,000 US. 3 is Martini at Midnight. A Muscle Hill 2-year-old gelding. Luke Blay trained. Louis Waugh will drive. This one came out of the Harrisburg sale as well. $210,000 US. 4 is Nixon Bixon. Redley Express 2-year-old colt trained by Dagfinn Henriksen. The driver is James McDonald. Nixon Bixon was a Lexian Select buy for $25,000 US. 5 is Yacht Club, a Trixton 2-year-old colt trained by Gerard Demers. Doug McNair will drive. This was a London Classic buy for $10,000. And 6 is Maize and Blue, 2-year-old gelded son of Green Manalishi, trained by Kyle Fellows. Damian McClellan does the driving. So our final qualifier today, this is the 11th. Next qualifier will come up a week from today, July 25th, here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. Start time will be 9:30. Live racing continues tonight, 6:35 first race post time for tonight and tomorrow. Your weekend action here from Mohawk. Starting gate moves into the stretch. A field of 6 2-year-old trotters. Here they come. And they're off and trotting in qualifier number 11. Yacht Club is off to a good beginning. Some speed from the rail coming from Finley. Lining on up will be Not at the Table Carlos. Then on the outside is Maize and Blue, who will be looking for a seat. Martini at Midnight is to that one's left. And then right behind is Nixon Bixon. Out to the lead goes Yacht Club here. And this one storms into the first turn, up top by 2.5 lengths. Finley in second. Then it's Not at the Table Carlos third. Fourth, Martini at Midnight. There was the seat for Maize and Blue fifth in front of Nixon Bixon. 29-3 was the opening quarter. So Doug McNair sent Yacht Club out to the front, and this Trixton colt is clear by 3 lengths. Off stride in fourth went Martini at Midnight. Martini at Midnight has made a break. So they're racing up the backstretch. The leader still, Yacht Club. Second, that is Not at the Table Carlos, who moves in a bit closer on that leader. First time out for that son of Muscle Mass. Then it's Finley going back to Maize and Blue, who is being followed by Nixon Bixon, and then that breaker, Martini at Midnight. 1 minute and 3/5 was the half-mile clocking. So the leader still, Yacht Club. Second is Finley, the Muscle Mass filly. She's just a length and a half away. Not at the Table Carlos, though, gets right onto that one's back. And then also getting a bit closer now is Maize and Blue, who's tracked by Nixon Bixon. And last again is Martini at Midnight. Coming to 3/4, and Yacht Club had the lead this far, is going to have to contend with Finley, who's starting to edge from the 2-hole. 1:31-3 was the 3/4 time. So as they spin for home, it's Yacht Club with the lead. Finley on the outside. Not at the Table Carlos will also look to storm on up as we have an 1/8 of a mile to go, and Yacht Club still with that advantage. Finley's a length and a half away. Not at the Table Carlos is coming on. Yacht Club's nearly there. Yacht Club will take it. Finishing in second, Not at the Table Carlos. Third was Finley. On the outside was Nixon Bixon from Maize and Blue. 2 minutes and a 5th.